Sabres game night tonight. They'll be playing the Columbus Blue Jackets at KeyBank Center. And we check in with our Sabres conversation Tuesdays at 8 o'clock from Lindy Ruff to Seth Appert this time around. Seth Appert joining us on the Wester Hotline to chat about tonight's game with the Columbus Blue Jackets and all that's going on with the Sabres as well. Seth, good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. Thanks for taking some time today.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Ooh, we might have a bit of phone trouble. We're going to have Joe pick you up and see if we can get that squared away. Sabres and Blue Jackets tonight. The Sabres sit outside the playoff picture, but with a chance to, well, it's tough to guess the standings tonight because every team plays.
Yep.
It is the frozen frenzy. There are staggered tee times. Listen to me. Well, what can I say? Golf's on the brain.
I mean, it's been freezing out. It's not like we've been playing like every day here.
I've got Golf League tonight. What can I say? It's on my brain.
Oh, Golf League.
But that said,
Golf League with the game on in the background?
That's the plan. But Sabres and Blue Jackets tonight, part of the staggering of face-offs. I almost did it again.
You almost did it again.
Staggering of face-offs on the frozen frenzy. Seth, good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. Thanks for taking time today.
Good morning, guys. Sound better?
Yes,
sir.
Much better. Seth, a lot going on, of course. Game tonight. Maybe the biggest news right at Sabres.com, the front page, is anticipation for Michael Kesselring's debut. So does that look like it's the kind of thing that might happen tonight? I mean, Kesselring, we're waiting to see him. He had the injury, and now, 9-10 games into the season, maybe it's time to get Kesselring in the lineup for the first time.
Yeah, we're excited about that. We'll see how morning skate is and how he's feeling. But, that was a big off-season acquisition for us, getting him and Doan. Doan has been outstanding and adding so many different things into our lineup, offensively but also physically. And, we're excited to get Kesselring into that D-core. D-core's playing real good as it is right now. And adding a player of his caliber, his size, we're something we're very excited about, and I think there's a good chance of that tonight.
What have you learned about Kesselring since acquiring him? I mean, like the scouting report would have been there, reasons to like him, to bring him in, and he's not yet played a game, but of course, like you guys would be getting to know him at this point, his makeup, what he's like. What have you learned about Kesselring?
I think that, what you'd heard, the due diligence on his character checks out in spades, and so we know how talented he is and how well he moves, how athletic he is for a guy that's 6'5". But you're hoping that the due diligence is correct on the character. But with Kesselring and with Doan, it's just in flying colors. Great teammates, all team, all the time. Physically committed, hard-nosed players, strong work ethics, and so just guys that add to the vibe in the locker room, that add to the toughness and to the collective togetherness of the team. So I can't say enough good things about both those guys right now.
I wonder, he has a big shot, we know that, and your blue line has a lot of offensive ability. This was actually, I remember we asked Lindy about Doan for this, Seth, how, is there more offensive upside than what people saw in Utah? And so far, that's proven true. What about Kesselring? Because he's got the big shot and, 7 goals in 17 minutes a night. Maybe there's a thought that there could be a little bit more there with more minutes and more opportunity.
I think there is. I think he's just scratching the surface on the kind of NHL player he can be. I mean, he's only been, a full-time NHL player for just a couple of years now. And players that work as hard as Kesselring does and put as much time into their game in the off-season, in the film room, those guys usually continue to grow their game. And so I think there is upward growth both for him from a defensive perspective and an offensive perspective. And we need our D-cores. We've seen recently guys like even Samuelsson, who is very good with the puck. He's more known with the defensive aspect, but we need our D-core. We have a mobile, big, athletic D-core, and Kesselring is just another one of those guys, and we need our D-core to be involved in our offensive attack.
Would you say over the last 5-6 games that what fans have seen, this is what you guys want, how you want to play? And again, some of that's without one of your biggest acquisitions in Kesselring, and we'll see when he gets back. But how have you felt about the team's overall play really since that first 3-game slide?
Yeah, the last 6 games have been better. I mean, we still think we have a lot of growth to do. We didn't start the season how we wanted to, but now 4-1-1 in our last 6, we felt that we should have had 2 points in Toronto. You like getting a point on the road, but you're up 3-2 in the last 10 minutes of that game, and those are games that we need to keep learning how to close out those hard-nosed games on the road. So But I think what we've done a really good job in the last 6 games is we put ourselves in position to win all 6. Even the game in Montreal that we lost was 1-1 in the third period. So I think that's a good thing. That you need to keep doing that. You need to play in such a manner with your structure and your talent and your competitiveness that you continue to put yourselves in position to win games in the third period. The more times you do that, the more points you can accumulate over time.
Seth Appert joining us on the Sabres and Blue Jackets tonight. Looking at the lines from yesterday's practice and how things are working out, Jiri Kulich has, young player still coming along, but, the progress you're hoping to see from him, you've spent a lot of time with Jiri Kulich. So where would you say his game is right now and how have things been coming along as he's, kind of taking the lessons of the young season?
I think that early on, he wasn't totally up to speed. He wasn't probably as sharp those first few games as we saw the last 30 or 40 from last season. But I think that these recent games, he's starting to look more like himself. When he took all the hard matchups last year. When you're playing with Tage, you're going to get the hard matchups, and he did a really good job with it. And he had a great summer. He got stronger. He got more powerful. And when he's playing his best, he's driven by his legs. His legs, Michael Pekka and I would tell him in Rochester, his legs are his moneymakers. And not only from an offensive perspective, but from a defensive perspective, with how quick he can close out plays, how strong he can back check. He's just such an explosive and powerful skater that when he is skating and attacking the game, he's a really, really good player, and he's been doing that more and more the last 4 or 5 games.
Seth Appert with us. Seth, the team started 0 for 11 on the power play, and now you're top 10 on the season. To my eye, is more of the play running through Benson on the power play? Not that Dahlin and Tage are not still very involved when it's moving around, but some of those different personnel groupings that maybe you have this year compared to last year, because it feels like Benson has taken a bigger role on the man advantage this year.
Yeah, yes. That's he missed those first games too, right? So we've had some key players out early, but yeah, he has. And when you're an opponent's penalty kill coach, what's the first thing you're going to do when you're playing the Sabres? You're going to figure out how to try to stop Dahlin and Thompson. Those are our 2 big guns. And so we have to go into that understanding that and knowing that then other things need to start opening up with that. And I think that we've done a better job, I think, of winning loose puck recoveries. So Doan and Benson are really good at winning battles and at solving pressure in small areas. And that's what loose puck recoveries are. And Zucker's good at that as well. So I think what we've done a better job of in the last 6 games than the group did maybe in the first 3 is we've come up with more loose pucks. So we've extended possessions. Everybody can be a good defensive player or a good penalty killer for first 15, 20, 25 seconds when you're fresh. But if we can extend a possession, say you get a shot on goal and the puck bounces in the corner, if we can go win that and solve pressure and extend that possession, now you might keep guys on the ice for 40 to 50 seconds. That's when mistakes start happening, and that's when you take advantage. So, and I think that the go-ahead goal the other night in Toronto was a great example of that. We extended a possession. Tage contested a clear. We kept the puck in. We solved the pressure. And then, Tage needs to find other ways to score on the power play than just the one-timer. That was a great example of it. He was at the front of the net collecting a rebound and scoring in that manner, and all goals count the same way.
Seth Appert with us. Was all of that, because Norris, it seemed like, was in line for a big role on the power play before his injury. Is any of those pieces been a surprise to you? Maybe Doan for this, that someone that could contribute in that way on the top power play unit?
Yeah, I think that you don't totally know when you don't have a player. So, yeah, I think we looked at Doan as a power play player. Was that going to be first unit, second unit? So I think that you could say that's a bit of a surprise. We liked our power play in preseason. I think we were 24, 25%. We liked our power play against the Rangers. We just didn't score, but we missed a couple wide open nets. We missed a backside one-timer that was an open net. And so the whole camp was spent with Norris running the half wall and building chemistry that way. Well, that went out the window, unfortunately. And so I think games 2 and 3, we were trying as a group, as a coaching staff, as a group of power play players, trying to figure out, okay, we don't have Norris now. What is it going to look like? And I think it took a couple games to kind of get our head wrapped around what's the best grouping of players for both units, because Owen's unit has been very good as well, with Jack Quinn scoring a huge game-winning goal in the third period against the Red Wings earlier last week.
Seth, how tricky is it with 3 goaltenders, especially when the one that's kind of coming in late here off of injury is the guy that in the past has been the team's number one? And maybe what you see out of Colton Ellis and his potential, how is it kind of managing all of that right now?
Well, I mean, that's harder for sure, but certainly that's a Lindy and Mike Bales more of handling it than our assistants. But I think that it's a good problem. I think that's what we have to look at it. Would you rather have 3 goalies that you like or none? And right now we have 3 that we really like. Alex Lyon has played outstanding to start the season. We all have a tremendous amount of belief in Pekka Luukkonen. And now we've acquired Colton Ellis, and he came in and played really, really good in winning that game against Detroit. So having 3 goalies you like is way better than not having any. And right now we have 3 that we really like. We have to manage that, and the best way to do that is just through open communication, and I think Lindy and Mike Bales do a great job of that.
Talking with Seth Appert on the Sabres ahead of tonight's game with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Seth, thanks very much for the time, and best of luck tonight.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Seth Appert of the Sabres, assistant coach of the Sabres tonight.